No, 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 no. The door just opened by itself. No, no, no. No.
Which one?
That door just opened by itself.
Ready for a vacation with a little extra boo on the side? Pack your ghost hunting gear and leave the comfy slippers behind because we're about to explore the 15 most haunted places in the world. From abandoned castles that haven't heard the word renovation since the 1500s, to hospitals where the patients never really checked out, these destinations aren't your average tourist hotspots. In fact, you might want to double-check your insurance before booking a flight. Whether you're into eerie noises, creepy apparitions, or just want to see how many times you can scream before you lose your voice, these spots deliver. Who needs a relaxing spa retreat when you can have cold drafts, flickering lights, and the occasional ghostly whisper telling you to get out? So if you've ever wanted to meet a ghost or several, skip the haunted house and head straight to the source. Warning: you might not get the vacation photos you expect unless you're into blurry images of things that shouldn't be there. Ready to meet your next paranormal BFF? Let's dive into these chilling destinations where the only thing more terrifying than the stories is the hotel Wi-Fi. Number 15, Chase Vaults, Barbados. In the serene Christchurch parish of Barbados, nestled within a quiet cemetery, lies the infamous Chase Vault, one of the most chillingly haunted locations in the Caribbean. The eerie tales surrounding this site date back to the 19th century, when a series of unexplained occurrences turned the vault into a source of dread for locals and tourists alike. The vault, built in 1724, was meant to house the bodies of the Chase family. However, after several burials, strange things began to happen. When the vault was reopened for subsequent funerals, mourners discovered that the coffins inside had mysteriously shifted positions. No one could explain how or why the heavy sealed coffins moved on their own. The unsettling sight of coffins scattered around the vault, as if in defiance of death itself, prompted whispers of supernatural forces at work. But what caused the haunting? Some believe the restless spirits of the Chase family, who had suffered untimely deaths, were angry, unable to find peace. Others suggest darker forces may be at play. Whatever the cause, the vault quickly became a site of fear and fascination. Over the years, tourists have reported hearing strange noises and feeling an oppressive, cold presence in the air. One visitor even claimed to have seen a ghostly figure standing near the vault's entrance, only to vanish when approached. The Chase Vault remains a place of mystery and terror, a reminder that some things, dead or alive, are best left undisturbed. Number 14, Edinburgh Castle, Scotland. Perched atop the windswept crags of Castle Rock, Edinburgh Castle is one of the most iconic landmarks in Scotland. But it's also a place where the line between history and the supernatural blurs. With its dark, ancient walls and blood-soaked past, the castle is rumored to be home to countless spirits that refuse to rest. Its chilling reputation as one of the most haunted sites in the UK is backed by centuries of bloodshed, betrayals, and unspeakable horrors. The castle's eerie history dates back to the 12th century, and over the years, it's witnessed everything from brutal executions to savage sieges. Among its most notorious hauntings is the ghost of a piper, believed to be the spirit of a young musician who vanished while playing in the tunnels beneath the castle. Legend has it that a group of soldiers sent him to explore the underground labyrinth, but he was never seen again, except in ghostly form. Visitors often report hearing the faint, mournful sounds of pipes echoing through the empty halls at night, with no one in sight. But the castle isn't just home to the piper. Tourists have reported seeing shadowy figures wandering the castle's halls, hearing blood-curdling screams from the dungeons, and feeling icy fingers brush their necks. In 2001, a couple exploring the castle late at night snapped a photo of what appeared to be a ghostly apparition standing by the window, a pale figure with no discernible face, captured in an area known for its dark history of executions. Edinburgh Castle may be a must-see for history lovers, but beware, the spirits that linger there don't always welcome the living. Number 13, Eastern State Penitentiary, USA. In the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, stands the imposing Eastern State Penitentiary. a crumbling monument to fear and isolation. Known for its Gothic architecture and ominous presence, this prison has long been regarded as one of the most haunted places in America. Its history of torment, suffering, and psychological ruin has created the perfect breeding ground for restless spirits, and those who dare to visit often find that the past is not so easily left behind. Opened in 1829, Eastern State was designed with a revolutionary philosophy: solitary confinement. Prisoners were kept in complete isolation, with only minimal contact with guards or other inmates. The mental and emotional toll was catastrophic. Many inmates went mad, and some even died from the extreme conditions. One of the most disturbing stories is that of the man who laughed, a prisoner who was driven insane after years of solitary confinement. He was found grinning uncontrollably, his face twisted into a grotesque expression, shortly before his death. The souls of these forgotten prisoners are believed to haunt the prison to this day. Tourists report hearing eerie footsteps echoing through the dark, empty halls, and some have felt unseen hands push or grab at them in the shadowed corners. In 2004, a visitor on a night tour snapped a photo of a shadowy figure in the prison's cell blocks, only to discover upon closer inspection that the figure was missing its face. With its horrifying past and relentless hauntings, Eastern State Penitentiary remains a place where the living dare not stay for long, and the dead never truly leave. Number 12. Dragsholm Castle, Denmark. Nestled in the misty countryside of Denmark, Dragsholm Castle is a sprawling fortress that has stood for over 800 years, but beneath its picturesque facade lies a darker, more sinister history. A history of betrayal, death, and unearthly torment. Today, it is infamous for being one of Denmark's most haunted locations, where the spirits of its violent past refuse to rest. Built in the 12th century, Dragsholm Castle has served as a royal residence, a fortress, and even a prison. Its chilling reputation begins with the tale of Countess Margrethe of Diepholz, who was imprisoned here by her husband in the 16th century. The Count, fearing her growing power, locked her away in a dungeon cell for the rest of her life. Legend has it that she died there, broken and mad, her final cries echoing through the castle. Ever since, her ghost is said to roam the corridors, her anguished wails heard by unsuspecting visitors. But Countess Margrethe is far from the only restless spirit. Tourists have reported seeing ghostly figures in the castle's halls, often dressed in period clothing, their faces contorted in expressions of despair. Some have felt an icy hand grip their shoulder in the dimly lit hallways, only to turn around and find no one there. In 2007, a group of visitors on a nighttime tour snapped a chilling photograph of what appeared to be a spectral figure peering through a window, its features indistinguishable but unmistakably human. Dragsholm Castle's tortured past continues to bleed into the present, making it a place where the dead walk among the living, and they aren't ready to be forgotten. Number 11, Ailey Grand Hotel, Lebanon. Nestled in the scenic hills of Lebanon, the Ailey Grand Hotel offers breathtaking views of the surrounding mountains, but behind its once grand facade lies a dark, chilling history. This 19th century hotel, once a luxurious retreat for the elite, is now infamous for its terrifying hauntings, where the echoes of its gruesome past refuse to fade. The origins of its paranormal activity trace back to the violent period of Lebanon's civil war in the 1970s and 1980s. The hotel, located in a strategic position, became a site of fierce battles and brutal massacres. Some say that the spirits of those who died in these horrific events still haunt the hotel, their suffering trapped within the walls. Over the years, the hotel has gained a reputation as a cursed place where the living are tormented by the restless dead. Guests have reported eerie encounters with spectral figures, particularly in the abandoned sections of the hotel. Some say they've seen the ghostly apparition of a soldier, his face pale and bloodied, roaming the hallways at night. Others have felt an oppressive, cold presence that follows them through the dark, crumbling corridors. One terrifying incident in 2010 involved a group of tourists who stayed overnight. they claimed to hear disembodied whispers and soft footsteps in their room, only to find when they looked that their doors were locked from the inside and there was no one else in the room. Ailey Grand Hotel may offer a stunning view of Lebanon's beauty, but those who stay too long may find that the beauty fades in the face of true terror. Number 10. Castle of Good Hope, South Africa. The Castle of Good Hope in Cape Town, South Africa, is one of the oldest and most historically significant landmarks in the country. But behind its imposing stone walls and beautiful architecture lies a chilling past of violence, betrayal, and torment, haunting its halls with restless spirits. Built in the 17th century as a fortress by the Dutch East India Company, the castle was a place of imprisonment, torture, and executions. Over the centuries, it has been the site of countless deaths, including that of a soldier who was allegedly murdered in the dungeons. His tortured soul, some say, is still trapped within the castle's walls. The most infamous haunting is that of a mysterious figure known as the Lady in White, believed to be the spirit of a woman who either died of heartbreak or was executed for treason. She is often seen drifting through the castle's corridors, her translucent figure illuminated by the pale moonlight. Tourists who visit the Castle of Good Hope have reported chilling experiences. In 2006, a group of visitors on a night tour snapped a photograph of what appeared to be a ghostly soldier standing guard at one of the castle's windows, his face pale and his eyes hollow, yet completely visible in the camera's flash. Others have described feeling an icy presence pressing down on them as they pass through the torture chambers. One couple even claimed to have heard disembodied whispers and the sound of chains dragging across the stone floors, though no one was around. The Castle of Good Hope, with its bloody history and endless tales of horror, remains a terrifying place where the dead never truly leave. Number 9. Monte Cristo Homestead, Australia. Monte Cristo Homestead, located in Junee, New South Wales, is infamous for being one of Australia's most haunted locations. Built in 1885 by wealthy landowner Christopher William Crawley, the Grand Mansion hides a dark and tragic history. Over the years, the Crawley family endured horrific misfortunes, including violent deaths, mysterious disappearances, and unnatural events that continue to haunt the property. The most chilling part of Monte Cristo's history is the abuse and suffering that took place within its walls. Crawley was notorious for his cruelty toward servants, and rumors of physical and emotional abuse permeated the estate. Tragedy struck when Elizabeth Crawley, Christopher's wife, died after falling down the stairs. Their disabled daughter, locked away in a room for much of her life, is said to haunt the upper floors, her ghost seen staring out of the windows or roaming the halls. Today, tourists report terrifying paranormal activity. Visitors have encountered cold spots, shadowy figures, and disembodied voices. One tourist claimed to have felt a cold hand touch the back of their neck in an empty hallway. Others have heard faint cries and footsteps following them through the house, only to turn and find no one there. The most harrowing encounter happened when a lonely traveler stayed overnight. Awakened by strange noises, he opened his door to find a shadowy figure standing at the top of the stairs, motionless. The figure vanished before his eyes, leaving him frozen in fear. Monte Cristo Homestead's tragic past and the restless spirits trapped within make it one of the most haunted places in Australia, where the dead never seem to rest. Number 8. Aokigahara Forest, Japan. Aokigahara Forest, located at the base of Japan's Mount Fuji, is known for its eerie and haunting reputation as the Suicide Forest. This dense, dark woodland covers over 35 square kilometers and has become infamous for the high number of suicides that occur there. In fact, Aokigahara is one of the most well-known suicide spots in the world, earning its grim nickname due to the chilling number of bodies found within its depths each year. The forest's tragic history and its supernatural aura make it one of the most terrifying places on Earth. Aokigahara has long been shrouded in dark folklore. In ancient times, it was said to be a place where spirits of the dead, particularly those abandoned by their families during times of famine or hardship, wandered restlessly. The name Aokigahara itself can be translated as Sea of Trees, but the dense, silent atmosphere has led many to believe it is a place where lost souls linger, trapped between worlds. The forest's unnerving atmosphere is compounded by the unusual silence. The thick canopy of trees absorbs sound, creating an oppressive stillness. Visitors often report feelings of dread, as if they are being watched by unseen eyes. There are accounts of tourists becoming disoriented, losing their sense of direction, and even hearing footsteps or voices when no one is around. One disturbing encounter comes from a group of hikers who ventured into Aokigahara, only to find the decomposing body of a man hanging from a tree. In the same area, they later reported hearing whispers and feeling cold, unseen hands brushing against their skin. The deeper into the forest they went, the stronger the sensation of being followed became, until they fled in terror. Aokigahara is not just a forest. It is a place of sorrow, despair, and spirits that never found peace, making it one of the most haunted locations in the world. Number 7. St. Augustine Lighthouse, Florida. The St. Augustine Lighthouse in Florida is not only a historical landmark, but also one of the most haunted places in the United States. Built in 1824, it has witnessed countless tragedies, making it a hotspot for paranormal activity. The eerie presence that lingers around the lighthouse is tied to a long and chilling history of death, despair, and restless spirits. One of the most disturbing events linked to the lighthouse occurred in the 1800s. In 1859, the lighthouse keeper's wife, Eliza, and their young daughter, Mary, both tragically died in an accident when they fell from the tower. Some believe their spirits remain trapped in the lighthouse, eternally wandering the grounds. Over the years, numerous reports have surfaced of ghostly figures appearing in the tower or along the stairs, often described as a woman in white, likely Eliza, who is said to be searching for her daughter. In addition to the tragic deaths, there is a dark history of drowning and shipwrecks near the lighthouse, contributing to its haunted reputation. Tourists and investigators alike have reported hearing disembodied voices, footsteps echoing when no one is around, and the sounds of a child's laughter, perhaps the spirit of young Mary, forever playing in the shadows. One particularly chilling encounter occurred when a group of visitors took a nighttime tour. They were near the top of the lighthouse when one of them felt an icy hand grip their ankle. When they turned around, no one was there. Another guest reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread as they approached the lightkeeper's quarters, only to see a shadowy figure watching them from the window. The St. Augustine Lighthouse is more than just a beacon of light. It is a monument to the tragic souls who never left, making it one of the most haunted places in America. Number 6. Gonjiam Asylum, South Korea. Gonjiam Asylum, located in the quiet hills of South Korea, is one of the world's most terrifying and notorious haunted locations. Once a psychiatric facility in the 1950s, the asylum has since fallen into ruin, abandoned by authorities and left to decay in eerie silence. What remains is a crumbling, decayed building shrouded in unsettling stories of paranormal activity, making it a hotspot for thrill-seekers and ghost hunters alike. The history of Gonjiam is dark. Originally built as a psychiatric hospital, it became infamous for the harsh treatment of patients. As the years passed, the asylum was riddled with reports of neglect, abuse, and inhumane conditions. In the 1990s, the hospital was abruptly closed under mysterious circumstances, and the building was left to rot, its windows shattered, walls covered in mildew, and rooms swallowed by darkness. Locals began to whisper about the restless spirits of patients who had died in agony. Gonjiam's haunting reputation intensified in 2018 when a group of South Korean YouTubers ventured into the asylum and documented their terrifying experiences. The footage showed strange shadows, unsettling noises, and even a disembodied voice that sent chills down viewers' spines. Travelers who have dared to visit Gonjiam have reported hearing footsteps behind them when no one is there, experiencing sudden drops in temperature, and witnessing lights flicker erratically. Some even claim to have seen apparitions of patients wandering the halls, still trapped in the hellish environment where they suffered. The most chilling accounts come from those who ventured into the asylum at night. One visitor claimed they were physically shoved by an unseen force, while another described being followed by the sounds of heavy breathing. The oppressive atmosphere and the countless rumors of torture, death, and madness that permeate the asylum leave an indelible mark on anyone who dares to enter, making Gonjiam one of the most haunted places in the world. Number 5. Tower of London. The Tower of London, one of the most iconic and haunted sites in the world, has a history as dark and twisted as its towering stone walls. Built in 1066 by William the Conqueror, this fortress has witnessed centuries of brutality, betrayal, and bloodshed. It has served as a royal residence, a prison, and a place of execution, earning a grim reputation as a site of unimaginable suffering. The tower's haunted legacy is deeply tied to the many tragic events that unfolded within its walls. Most notably, the executions of Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard, and Thomas More, figures of royal intrigue and political drama, have left their spectral marks. Anne Boleyn, in particular, is said to haunt the tower, with witnesses claiming to have seen her ghostly figure in a white dress walking near the spot where she was beheaded in 1536. Her headless apparition is often accompanied by a cold, unsettling chill, sending visitors into fits of dread. The infamous Lady in White is another apparition who has been sighted at the tower, believed to be the ghost of a young woman executed unjustly. There are also tales of the ghost of the princes, the two young sons of King Edward IV, who disappeared mysteriously in 1483 and were likely murdered within the tower. Their spirits are said to roam the corridors, their cries of distress echoing through the night. Travelers and staff alike report hearing strange noises in the tower, chains rattling in the dark, ghostly footsteps on the stone floors, and whispers of long-dead prisoners. Some claim to have been touched by unseen hands or to have felt an oppressive force in the air. The Tower of London, with its history of betrayal, torture, and death, remains a place where the past never quite lets go, its dark and restless spirits continuing to haunt the living. Number 4. Poveglia, Italy. Poveglia Island, located off the coast of Venice, Italy, is often regarded as one of the most haunted places in the world. This small, desolate island has a terrifying history, filled with plague, death, and madness, leaving behind an eerie and sinister atmosphere that still lingers to this day. In the 18th century, during the bubonic plague, Poveglia became a quarantine station where the sick and dying were sent to isolate from the rest of Venice. Thousands of victims, their bodies racked with disease, were dumped on the island, many never to leave. The suffering and death were relentless, and some believe that the souls of these plague victims still haunt the island, trapped by their agonizing end. In the 1920s, Poveglia was repurposed as a mental asylum, further deepening its horrific legacy. It's rumored that the doctors who ran the facility conducted cruel experiments on the patients, including lobotomies. The most chilling tale is that of a doctor who supposedly went crazy himself, driven insane by the spirits of the dead. It's said that he threw himself from the asylum's bell tower, his anguished screams echoing through the island before he plunged to his death. Today, Poveglia remains abandoned and off-limits to the public, but those who have dared to visit tell disturbing stories. Many claim to hear the anguished cries of the plague victims in the wind, or feel a crushing sense of dread when near the bell tower. Some have reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the ruins, or hearing footsteps behind them when no one is there. One traveler even claimed to be touched by an unseen force, while another said the air grew so thick with unease that they had to flee in terror. Poveglia's dark past and its gruesome history of death and torment make it one of the most haunted places on Earth, where the spirits of the past still seem to linger, waiting. Number 3. Château de Brissac, France. Château de Brissac, a majestic Renaissance castle nestled in the heart of the Loire Valley, France, holds a dark and tragic secret. With its towering stone walls and ornate interiors, it is often described as the king of the Loire castles, But beneath its beauty lies a history steeped in betrayal, murder, and restless spirits. The chateau is considered one of the most haunted places in France, and its chilling past is said to have left an indelible mark on its halls. The haunting of Brissac is most famously tied to the tragic story of Charlotte de Valois, the wife of Jacques de Brissac, who was allegedly murdered in the 15th century. Charlotte discovered her husband's infidelity with a young woman, and in a fit of rage, Jacques took her life. It is said that after her death, Charlotte's ghost began to haunt the castle, her spirit wandering the halls in a state of anguish. Visitors have reported seeing a pale, translucent figure known as the Green Lady roaming the castle's darkened corridors. Her greenish glow and sorrowful expression are said to appear most often near the chapel where she was found dead. Over the years, travelers and staff have shared eerie accounts of strange happenings. Some report hearing footsteps echoing through the empty halls, only to turn and find no one there. Others have felt a sudden, unexplained drop in temperature or noticed lights flickering without cause. One visitor claimed to have been touched by a cold, unseen hand while walking through a particularly eerie passageway. With its history of love, betrayal, and death, Chateau de Brissac remains a place where the past never truly fades away. The ghosts of Charlotte and countless others seem to linger, trapped in a cycle of sorrow and vengeance, forever haunting this once proud castle. Number 2. Gettysburg Battlefield, Pennsylvania, USA. The Gettysburg Battlefield in Pennsylvania is not only one of the most significant locations in American history, but also one of the most haunted places in the world. In July 1863, it was the site of the deadliest battle of the American Civil War, where over 50,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or missing. The sheer scale of bloodshed, suffering, and death has left an indelible mark on the land, and many believe the spirits of those fallen soldiers still linger in the fog and shadows. The haunting reputation of Gettysburg grew over time as stories of ghostly apparitions, eerie sounds, and unexplained phenomena began to surface. Visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures in Union and Confederate uniforms, often walking the same battlefields where they fell over a century ago. These restless spirits are thought to be the soldiers who died in brutal combat, their souls unable to find peace. One of the most famous hauntings is the apparition of a Confederate soldier who is said to appear near the Devil's Den, a rocky outcrop where intense fighting took place. Witnesses claim to have seen a lone soldier walking among the boulders, only to vanish when approached. Others have described hearing the sound of cannon fire and battle cries in the distance, despite the battlefield being silent. Travelers and paranormal investigators have shared chilling accounts of unexplained phenomena, including sudden temperature drops, ghostly voices, and the sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Some have even reported seeing full apparitions of soldiers, while others claim to have heard the sounds of marching footsteps or the faint strains of a flute and drum. The Gettysburg battlefield's tragic past and the immense loss of life have made it a place where the spirits of the past refuse to rest, making it one of the most haunted and unsettling locations in America. 40 Mini Number 1, Bhangra Fort, India. Bhangar Fort, nestled in the Aravalli Hills of Rajasthan, India, is widely regarded as one of the most haunted places in the world. The fort's eerie atmosphere and grim reputation have made it a popular destination for those intrigued by the supernatural. Built in the 16th century by Maharaja Madho Singh Wurs, the fort's grand architecture and strategic location seem out of place given its dark, tragic history. The haunting of Bhangar is deeply tied to a local legend that has been passed down for generations. It is said that a powerful tantric holy man fell in love with Ratnavati, the beautiful princess of Bhangar. Desperate to win her love, the tantric used magic to cast a spell on a potion that would make her fall for him. However, Ratnavati saw through his plan, and in a stroke of brilliance used the potion on a rock, which caused the tantric to be crushed under it. Before dying, the tantric cursed the fort, condemning it and its inhabitants to destruction. Shortly after, a series of unfortunate events, including battles and internal strife, led to the fort's ruin. Today, Bhangar is said to be cursed, and the locals avoid the fort, especially after dark. Visitors have reported hearing strange noises such as disembodied voices, eerie laughter, and footsteps in the night. Some claim to have seen shadows moving in the ruins, while others describe feeling an overwhelming sense of dread or being followed by an unseen presence. The fort's dense, haunting atmosphere, combined with its ominous history, has led many travelers to abandon their visits in fear. The government has even placed a warning sign at the entrance, advising against visiting after sunset, as the fort is believed to be under the influence of dark forces. Bhangar remains an iconic symbol of India's eerie past, a place where the restless spirits of the past refuse to fade away. Conclusion. And there you have it, the 15 most haunted places around the world, where ghosts are clearly thriving on the eternal vacation. So next time you're planning a getaway, maybe skip the spooky spots and opt for a beach resort instead. Unless, of course, you're looking for an afterlife adventure. Whether you believe in the paranormal or just love a good scare, these eerie destinations are sure to send a chill down your spine, preferably while you're sitting comfortably in your own home, far from their haunted halls. Happy or haunted travels, and don't forget to pack your ghost repellent.